I'm sharing something because it just came up last night in my mind. I talk about this every now and then, but it's so weird. I should start like a Chronicles of an Entertainer segment or something like that. But I was thinking about all the like fun things that happen as an entertainer, things that you would never experience in your entire life if you just worked a corporate job your whole life, right? Not that that's something bad, but it's also just there's just certain things that you do unless you are singing or an entertainer. And I think about all the crazy things like, I lost my wig on stage, I broke my foot on stage, I lost my skirt on stage. So many weird stories, right? As a performer. But then I'm thinking about things like I probably would never have gotten my scuba diving certification if I didn't work on a cruise ship. So working on the Royal Caribbean, I was like, I'm going to get my diving certification. Sure, why not? Right? It was before I knew I was asthmatic too. So now I have to get like special permission by my pulmonologist to go scuba diving now. However, I remember one time I was diving in Cozumel, and there's a place called Palancar Reef. It's this drift dive. It's beautiful, blue, beautiful, thriving reef on the right, and total blackness on the left. So you're just drifting, following this drift, following the current. And I was with a group, so I wasn't buddied up. I was with an actual group. So I ended up following this drift dive, but I was weighted too heavily. Didn't realize it. Of course, I was a pretty new diver. It was only my fourth dive. And I ended up sinking, not realizing I was sinking and being separated from the group. But of course, you're in this just state of euphoria, looking at all this beautiful reef, the wildlife that's below the ocean depths. And as a recreational diver, you're not supposed to go below 64 feet. I'm just drifting away, kind of literally, in that state of euphoria. And all of a sudden, you get that feeling that something's watching. And I quickly turn to the left into that deep blackness, and there was a barracuda staring me down. I am not joking. I freaked out, but I didn't like freak out too much. It just was like, okay, there's a barracuda staring me right in the face. And hi, Betty. And I looked forward, didn't see my people, looked back up, and there they all were. I don't know how far up they were. And I didn't check. I just kind of swam slowly, bubbles, making sure I wasn't going through, making sure I was doing it the way you're supposed to, the way I was taught in training, and caught up to my group, and that was that. And hi. And I ended up just kind of not saying much at all. Got back up on the boat, no big deal. And we were logging all of our depths, and I was at 92 feet. You're not supposed to go below 64 feet. And I ended up, the guy looked at me, the guide, and I looked at him and I thought I was in trouble. Really, it would have been him who would have been in trouble, but I was a new diver, so I thought I was in trouble. And I just kind of let it go and didn't realize until like months later when I looked back at that I was literally on the brink of death. And that barracuda saved my life. So I call it my Barracuda Angel. I had a Barracuda Angel, you guys. What kind of like entertainer in the world gets to have a barracuda who gets to like save your life? Not, I don't know of anybody else. But these are the kinds of crazy things that you get to experience when you're an entertainer. And, hopefully your Barracuda Angel will save your life. Betty, what's my message to the world? Do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. That's what, period. Do what you love for a living, and you'll never work a day in your life. So, thanks for joining me. And hopefully you enjoyed that story, or it freaked you out enough to maybe never go diving. I don't know. I'm going diving again. And I loved it. And just these experiences that you look back on that, it's sometimes when you're not until on the brink of death that you're not really realizing you're not really living until you're on that precipice, right? Anyway, have a great day, and I look forward to maybe catching up with you guys at some point. Bye.